evacuation, but the exceptions of campers and RVs, those have been mandatory. All these evacuations, in fact, starting yesterday at around 11, then lasting 2 p.m. or so, I think was when the mandatory went into effect for Cameron Parish. Nonetheless, when we're looking at this system, the storm is still trying to organize. Live looks, Lake Charles, New Orleans, we've got that moisture moving in. From a storm count perspective, Francine is the 6th named storm, but if it strengthens into a hurricane, it would be our 4th of the season. And this follows Beryl, Debbie, and Ernesto. 5 named storms, 5 landfalls, and we're going to be looking at our 6th with a 6th landfall. For a season that's had a remarkable lull, the average date of the 4th hurricane is September 16th, so it seems we're going to be ahead of schedule yet again.
All right, let's bring in Fox Weather hurricane specialist Brian Norcross. And Brian, where to start? Because we were breaking this down here at the desk, and I guess I'll just kick it off with the part that we found most interesting. When you look at the forecast cone, especially when it comes to intensity, as quoted by the NHC in the write-up, they said while it's not explicitly shown in the latest forecast, the cyclone could reach peak intensity near 85 knots, which would put it at a Category 2 hurricane. But the idea is that intensification would stop before landfall. Not explicitly stated, though, in that cone. Why do you think that's so?
Yeah, because they use the 6-hour, 12-hour forecast increments. So the first increment for the 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central Time forecast would be 8 p.m. and then 8 a.m. And so if the peak occurs in between those times, it doesn't have a line there to show, okay, it's going to peak. But what they're saying is that intensification should continue up until the point offshore, and then the system would start to weaken as it comes onshore. The consensus of all the computer models is that the upper level winds are suddenly going to pick up. It's not going to be a gradual process, but they're suddenly going to get kind of hostile, and that should start weakening the system just offshore and as it's coming onshore. So that might be a little good news, but we have to get there first. Now we still
bus by any chance?
Yes, I did.
Can you bring it in whenever you get back, please?
Yes, ma'am. All eyes on Francine right now as she tracks towards Louisiana. Also happening, preparations across South Mississippi. There are several harbors with voluntary evacuations underway right now.
Live from the WLOX News Now studio, Midday starts now.
Well, good Tuesday morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Midday. I'm Jamie Doris. South Mississippi now under a tropical storm warning. We're going to take a live look right now from our storm tracker. It's over in Gulfport. Now, the drawbridge on 605 is currently stuck closed because of a car crash this morning. Later today, though, MDOT is announcing that they are closing the drawbridges on Highway 605, the Cowan-Lorain, and then the I-110 and 609 Washington Avenue. That means the drawbridges will not be opening for any boat traffic after that time. For the very latest, though, on the Francine's track, we're going to go ahead to meteorologist Taylor Graham. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning, Jamie. So latest update as of 10 o'clock, not showing signs of the winds getting stronger in Francine. However, we've noticed a drop in pressure now at 988 millibars. So a drop in pressure does indicate that the system is strengthening, even though the winds may not have responded just yet. Latest forecast track still calls for Francine to make landfall as a hurricane as it approaches coastal Louisiana. Now, compared to yesterday, the track has shifted a little bit farther to the east, and that's a little more concerning for us because that would mean more impacts here in South Mississippi. One of those being some strong winds, and now we are under a tropical storm warning for most of us. That goes for Pearl River, Hancock, Harrison, and Jackson counties. Those watches have been extended a little bit farther inland. Basically, this means we could see tropical storm force winds. Those are winds greater than 39 miles per hour within the next 24 to 36 hours. So wind is going to be a factor, and with that wind out of the east and southeast, that's going to cause some coastal flooding and even some storm surge. That watch we had yesterday has been upgraded to a warning this morning. Surge up to 3 to 5 feet possible along the coast and in some low-lying areas. So if you live in one of those low-lying areas, you probably are aware of that. Take those precautions today, make those preparations today, because by tomorrow things are going to be going downhill. And again, this goes for the entire Mississippi coast. But as we know, it seems like southern Hancock County a little bit more vulnerable to some of that surge. So Francine very likely going to become a hurricane at some point today. And even though the latest track has it becoming.
So, you know, Twin Spans right here looking clear, and we'll keep doing this throughout the morning, just kind of giving you a look at the roadways and different parts of our area, bridges, whatever we can see, we'll share with you. You know, right now it's calm and quiet. It looked like the road might have been a little bit wet, but I didn't see any rain coming down. So that's sort of in our area. It's, you know, kind of hit and miss, a little bit of rain here, there, but nothing too major. So I think that's probably good news for everybody. We'd like it to be as calm as long as possible.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, we hope you do sit tight. We're going to take a quick break and back with more after this. Pete Malone standing by.